What up? What up? It's your boy Jeff here. We're in the building, y'all. We're in the building. What's going on? What's happening? Yes.
Please welcome the Democratic nominee for president,
Here we
Vice
go.
President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
Here we go. Here we go. Yes, Kamala. Ah. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Jeff here in the building right now, man. So let me tell you something, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. The girl is speaking right now, man. Yeah. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're in the building. We're in the building. Kamala Harris out here speaking whatnot. Ah, yeah. Well, if you're in the house, give me a shout right away. If you're in the house, give me a shout. Let me know you're in the building. Just hanging out here with your girl Kamala Harris out here trying to speak to you. What's going on, man? It's been a minute. I guess it's a special moment, you know. Yeah, we got to do this. Now, so far, man, this has been amazing. This has been amazing. This has been amazing. Yep. Where my people at? Fall in. We're in the building. I mean, it's beautiful, man. Yo, this is very poetic. You know what I mean? Like Jamaican father, South Asian Indian mother. This is different. This is different, y'all. This is different. You know? And it's scary too, because we don't know. It may or may not happen. It may or may not happen. It may or may not happen. Yeah. Historic moment right here, ladies and gentlemen. Historic moment right here. Now, with those uphill battle, it's an uphill battle, man. So we can't take it for granted. But let's go.
Thank you. Please. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay, let's get to business. All right. So let me start by thanking my most incredible husband, Doug.
I think he's ready, y'all. Dougie. That's my man.
An incredible father to Cole and Ella. And happy anniversary, Dougie.
What? Beautiful.
I love you so very much. To our president.
If you're in the building, drop a line for your boy. I guess I had to do it tonight, man. I had to do it.
The path that we have traveled together, Joe, I am filled with gratitude. Your record is extraordinary, as history will show, and your character is inspiring. And Doug and I love you and Jill and are forever thankful to you both.
What's up?
And to Coach Jim Walls.
Coach.
You are going to be an incredible vice president.
Yo, this dude is something else, man. Nobody knows where this dude came from.
And to the delegates and everyone who has put your faith in our campaign.
Everybody loves this dude.
Humbling.
Everybody loves this dude.
So, America, the path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected. But I'm no stranger.
If you're here, drop me a line, my people.
Journeys. So
Mm.
my mother, our mother, Kamala Harris, had one of her own. And I miss her every day, and especially right now. And I know she's looking down, smiling. I know that.
Hanging out,
My
y'all. We're
mother
hanging out.
was 19 when she crossed the world alone, traveling from India to California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist who would cure breast cancer. When she finished school, she was supposed to return home to a traditional arranged marriage. But as fate would have it, she met my father, Donald Harris, a student from Jamaica. They fell in love and got married, and that act of self-determination made my sister Maya and me. Growing up, we moved a lot. I will always remember that big Mayflower truck packed with all our belongings, ready to go to Illinois, to Wisconsin, wherever parents' jobs took us. My early memories of our parents together are very joyful ones. A home filled with laughter and music, Aretha, Coltrane, Miles. At the park, my mother would say, "Stay close." But my father would say, as he smiled, "Run, Kamala, run, don't be afraid, don't let anything stop you." From my earliest years, he taught me to be fearless. But the harmony between my parents did not last. When I was in elementary school, they split up. And it was mostly my mother who raised us. Before she could finally afford to buy a home, she rented a small apartment in the East Bay. In the Bay, you either live in the hills or the flatlands. We lived in the flats. A beautiful working-class neighborhood of firefighters, nurses, and construction workers, all who tended their lawns with pride. My mother, she worked long hours, and like many working parents, she leaned on a trusted circle to help raise us. Mrs. Shelton, who ran the daycare below us and became a second mother. Uncle Sherman, Aunt Mary, Uncle Freddie, Auntie Chris. None of them family by blood, and all of them family by love. Family who taught us how to make gumbo, how to play chess, and sometimes even let us win. Family who loved us, believed in us, and told us we could be anything and do anything.
Yep.
They instilled in us the values they personified: community, faith, and the importance of treating others as you would want to be treated, with kindness, respect, and compassion. My mother was a brilliant 5 foot tall brown woman with an accent. And as the eldest child, I saw how the world would sometimes treat her. But my mother never lost her cool. She was tough, courageous, a trailblazer in the fight for women's health. And she taught Maya and me a lesson that Michelle mentioned the other night. She taught us to never complain about injustice, but do something about it.
Do something. Do something. Let me see you do something.
That was my mother.
What's up?
And she taught us.
She also
taught us. She also taught us, and never do anything half-assed. And that is a direct quote grew up immersed in the ideals of the civil rights movement. My parents had met at a civil rights gathering, and they made sure that we learned about civil rights leaders, including the lawyers like Thurgood Marshall and Constance Baker Motley, those who battled in the courtroom to make real the promise of America. So at a young age, I decided I wanted to do that work. I wanted to be a lawyer. And when it came time to choose the type of law I would pursue, I reflected on a pivotal moment in my life. You see, when I was in high school, I started to notice something about my best friend, Wanda. She was sad at school, and there were times she didn't want to go home. So one day I asked if everything was all right, and she confided in me that she was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And I immediately told her she had to come stay with us, and she did. This is one of the reasons I became a prosecutor, to protect people like Wanda, because I believe everyone has a right to safety, to dignity, and to justice.
Let's go. Let's go.
When I had a case,
Talk about
I
it.
charged it not in the name of the victim,
Yeah.
but in the name of the people.
Mm.
For a simple reason. In our system of justice, a harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us.
Yes. Talk about it, lady.
And I would often explain this to console survivors of crime, to remind them no one should be made to fight alone. We are all in this together. And every day in the courtroom, I stood proudly before a judge and I said 5 words: Kamala Harris for the people.
Yep.
And to be clear, my entire career, I've only had one client, the people. And so, on behalf of the people,
Yeah.
on behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender, or the language your grandmother speaks, on behalf of my mother,
Yes, sir.
and everyone who has ever set out on their own unlikely journey,
Mm-hmm.
on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with,
Mm-hmm.
people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another, on behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, lady. Yes, you accept. Let's go. Yeah, we're not playing games out
And
here.
with this election,
Come on. Come on. Come on.
and with this election,
Mm-hmm.
our nation with this election has a precious, fleeting opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward.
Lord knows we need it. Lord knows we need it.
Not as members of any one party or faction, but as Americans.
Yeah.
And let me say, I know there are people of various political views watching tonight. And I want you to know,
Come on,
I
y'all.
promise to
The
be
real
a
Osaz is in the
president
building.
for
Cute BB. This guy
all
Ben. A lot of
Americans.
people.
You can
Just hanging out here, man.
always trust me
Checking out our lady out here, man.
above party
Let's go. Let's go.
To hold
Yeah, drop me a
sacred
line, fellas. Drop me a line.
America's fundamental
Drop me a line, sis.
principles,
Let me know what you
from
feel
the rule of
now.
law to free
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
fair
yeah.
elections to the peaceful transfer of
Come
power.
on. Talk about it. Talk about it.
I will be a president who
No more
unites
insurrection.
us around our highest aspirations. A president who leads and listens, who is realistic, practical, and has common sense.
Yeah, normal. You
And
mean normal?
always fights for the American people.
Oh, yeah.
From the courthouse to the White House, that has been my life's work.
Yes. Yes. Come on.
As a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, California, I stood up
Talk about it.
for women and children against predators who abuse them. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big banks,
Yes.
delivered $20 billion.
A lot of people have an issue with the fact that she's a prosecutor. That's the job,
and
y'all.
helped pass a
That's the
homeowner
job.
bill of rights, one of the first of its kind in the nation.
That's the job. It's tough. People can accuse you of putting people in jail, but
For
that's the job.
veterans and students being scammed
That's the
by
job.
big for-profit colleges.
Mm-mm.
For workers who are being cheated out of their wages, the wages they were due. For seniors facing elder abuse. I fought against the cartels who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings.
Yeah.
Who threaten the security of our border and the safety of our communities.
Yeah.
And
Not
I
like
will
Trump.
tell
You're
you,
about it. He
these
talks about it a
fights
lot.
were not easy. And neither were the elections that put me in those offices. We were underestimated at practically every turn. But we never gave up,
No, you didn't.
because the future is always worth fighting for.
Come on.
And that's the fight we are in right now, a fight for America's future. Fellow Americans, this election is not only the most important of our lives, it is one of the most important in the life of our nation. In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man.
The
But the
unserious,
consequences, the
the
consequences
unserious Mr.
of
Trump.
putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. Consider not only the chaos and calamity when he was in office, but also the gravity of what has happened since he lost the last election. Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes.
Yes, he did.
When he failed, he sent an armed mob
Yes,
to
he
the
did.
United States Capitol,
He did
where
that.
they assaulted law enforcement officers.
He did.
When politicians in his own party begged him to call off the mob and send help, he did the opposite. He fanned the flames.
Yes, he Oh man, what's going on with my stream? Come on, let's go, let's go.
Who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol. His explicit intent to jail journalists, political opponents, and anyone he sees as the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
His explicit intent to deploy our active duty military against our own citizens. Consider the power he will have, especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled that he would be immune from criminal prosecution.
That part.
Just imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails, and how he would use the immense powers of the presidency of the United States. Not to improve your lives, not to strengthen our national security, but to serve the only client he has ever had, himself.
It's true.
And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors. And it's
if you're here with me, drop me a line. Let me know what you think about Kamala Harris and everything that's going on.
We are not going back.
Not going back.
We are not going back.
What the lady said.
We are not going back.
That's what the lady said.
We are not going back to when Donald Trump tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. We are not going back to when he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools.
Come on, man.
We are not going to let him end programs like Head Start that provide preschool and childcare for our children. America, we are not going back.
No, we're not. How can anybody be against food for children and, help for parents? Like, it's not even, it doesn't make sense.
We are charting a new way forward to a future with a strong and growing middle class, because we know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success.
Yes,
and
sir.
building
Yes,
that
sir.
middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
Come on.
And I'll tell you, this is personal for me. The middle class is where I come from. My mother kept a strict budget. We lived within our means, yet we wanted for little. And she expected us to make the most of the opportunities that were available to us and to be grateful for them. Because as she taught us, opportunity is not available to everyone. That's why we will create what I call an opportunity economy, where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed. Whether you live in a rural area, small town, or big city. And as president, I will bring together labor and workers and small business owners and entrepreneurs and American companies to create jobs, to grow our economy, and to lower the cost of everyday needs like healthcare and housing and groceries. We will provide access to capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs and founders. And we will end America's housing shortage and protect Social Security and Medicare.
Gotta get it done. Gotta get it done.
Now compare that to Donald Trump, because I think everyone here knows he doesn't actually fight for the middle class. He doesn't actually fight for the middle class. He fights for himself and his billionaire friends. And he will give them another round of tax breaks that will add up to $5 trillion to the national debt. he intends to
All the
enact
while,
what in effect
he intends
is a
to enact
national
what in
sales
effect
tax,
is
call
a
it a
national
Trump
sales
tax,
tax, call it a
that would
Trump
raise
tax,
prices
that would
on
raise
middle-class
prices
families by
on
almost
middle-class families by
$4,000 a
almost
year.
$4,000 a year.
Well, instead
Well,
of
instead of a Trump
tax
tax
hike,
hike,
we will
we will
pass
pass
a middle-class tax cut
cut
that will
that
benefit more than 100 million Americans.
No.
Friends, I believe America
cannot
truly
be
be
prosperous
unless
unless
Americans
Americans
are fully able to make their own decisions about their own lives, especially on matters of heart and home. But tonight, in America, too many women are not able to make those decisions. And let's be clear about how we got here. Donald Trump handpicked members of the United States Supreme Court to take away reproductive freedom. And now he brags about it.
In his words, quote, I did it and I'm proud to have done. Quote, I did it
And I'm proud to have
done. Quote, I did it and I'm proud to have done. Quote, I did it and I'm proud to have done.
Oh, my bad, y'all. I think that's on my end.
Quote, I did it and I'm proud to have done. Quote, I did it and I'm proud to have done.
Oh, my bad, y'all.
End quote.
End quote.
My end. All right, I got it. And Instagram. Instagram is acting up. Instagram is acting up. Apologies, y'all.
Abortion coordinator
And force states to report.
Mm. Smoke. Getting back.
in this election.
Many other fundamental freedoms are at stake.
freedoms are at
The
stake.
freedom to live
The
safe,
freedom to live safe.
from gun violence in our schools, communities, and places of worship. Have the opportunity to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. And let me be clear. After decades in law enforcement, I know the importance of safety and security, especially at our border. Last year, Joe and I brought together Democrats and conservative Republicans to write the strongest border bill in decades. The Border Patrol endorsed it. But Donald Trump believes a border deal would hurt his campaign. So he ordered his allies in Congress to kill the deal. Well, I refuse to play politics without security, and here's my pledge to you. As president, I will bring back the bipartisan border security bill that he killed, and I will sign it into law. I know we can live up to our proud heritage as a nation of immigrants and reform our broken immigration system. We can
both.
create an earned pathway to citizenship and secure our border. And America, we must also be steadfast in advancing our security and values abroad. As Vice President, I have confronted threats to our security, negotiated with foreign leaders, strengthened our alliances, and engaged with our brave troops overseas. As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world. And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
And I'm different from Trump. Makes you different, lady.
I will make sure that we lead the world into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century, and that we strengthen, not abdicate our global leadership. Trump, on the other hand, threatened to abandon NATO. He encouraged Putin to invade our allies. Said Russia could, quote, do whatever the hell they want. 5 days before Russia attacked Ukraine, I met with President Zelensky to warn him about Russia's plan to invade. I helped mobilize a global response over 50 countries to defend against Putin's aggression. And as president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies. With respect to the war in Gaza, President Biden and I are working around the clock, because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done.
Good luck.
And let me be clear.
Good luck.
I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself. And I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7. Including unspeakable sexual violence and the massacre of young people at a music festival. At the same time, what has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. So many innocent lives lost. Desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety over and over again. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
All right. You see that, y'all? She did it. She put it together. Come on, That's it. That's it. You can do both. You can do both.
Action is necessary.
Takes wisdom. You can do both.
Our forces and our interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump. Because you know, they know he is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors.
Say that again.
They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself.
Yeah, that part.
And as president, I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand and I know where the United States belongs.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Fellow Americans, I love our country with all my heart. Everywhere I go, and everyone I meet, I see a nation that is ready to move forward, ready for the next step in the incredible journey that is America. I see an America where we hold fast to the fearless belief that built our nation and inspired the world. That here, in this country, anything is possible. That nothing is out of reach. An America where we care for one another, look out for one another, and recognize that we have so much more in common than what separates us.
Come on now.
That none of us has to fail for all of us to succeed.
Come on.
And that in unity there is strength. You know, our opponents in this race are out there every day denigrating America. Talking about how terrible everything is. Well, my mother had another lesson she used to teach. Never let anyone tell you who you are. You show them who you are. America, let us show each other and the world who we are and what we stand for. Freedom, opportunity, compassion, dignity, fairness, and endless possibilities. We are the heirs to the greatest democracy in the history of the world. And on behalf of our children and our grandchildren and all those who sacrificed so dearly for our freedom and liberty, we must be worthy of this moment. It is now our turn to do what generations before us have done. Guided by optimism and faith to fight for this country we love, to fight for the ideals we cherish, and to uphold the awesome responsibility that comes with the greatest privilege on earth, the privilege and pride of being an American. So let's get out there, let's fight for it, let's get out there, let's vote for it, and together, let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told. Thank you. God bless you, and may God bless the United States
Go.
of America. Thank you.
Let's go, lady. Let's go, lady. Rooting for you. You are crazy right now. Yeah. Kamala Harris, ladies and gentlemen, running for president of these United States. Now, I'll tell you something. It's been a minute, but you know, there are many of us who are looking for a new chapter in this country, just a new opportunity, just a new chapter. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And there are those who want to deny the value of immigration to this country. They want to deny the contribution of immigrants to this land. And it's a ridiculous attempt. It's really ridiculous. Right? This country is filled with evidence of the contribution of immigrants. You know, second generation, first generation. You're supposed to just embrace it. Just embrace it, man. Stop fighting. The more you fight it, man, the more these immigrants be coming in and doing their thing. And I love what she said. You can have a strong border, you can observe your immigration laws, and still be somebody who has compassion for immigrants, will show dignity. That's what's missing. You know, on Trump's side of the aisle, the rhetoric. They talk about immigrants like they're not human. That's what bothers me. That's what really bothers me. They talk about immigrants like there's nothing human about it. And you gotta ask yourself, you know, is it that they don't know any immigrants? The rhetoric. We talk about immigrants like they're not human. That's what really happening. That's what immigrants like there's nothing human about it. You gotta ask yourself, you know, is it that they don't know any immigrants? Yeah. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a nominee for president, Kamala Harris. Truth is now the real hard work begins. Everybody knows. Now you actually have to go out and campaign and do all the work. It's not going to be easy. It's definitely possible now. And the way I understand it, it's going to come down to whether or not this momentum can be maintained. It's going to come down to whether or not this momentum can be maintained, because we have about 70 days to the election. Have 70 days to the election, and let me let me mute it for a little bit. I hope. Yo, 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 yo. Yes, so yeah, it all comes down to whether or not the work comes down to the work, ladies and gentlemen. Comes down to the work because you can do so much. You can do so much. The day, the work, the work has to speak. The work has to speak. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you know what? That's just wanted to share that moment with everybody. It's a very historic moment. It's not every day you get to witness a situation where you might have your first black female Asian president. If you're in the building, drop me a line. Let me know what you think. What you think about the DNC, Kamala, everything that's going on. I have been pleasantly surprised. I've been pleasantly surprised by what's been going on. I've been pleasantly surprised by the reaction to Kamala Harris. I've been pleasantly surprised by the poll numbers. I have been pleasantly surprised by the fundraising. Those are those are the metrics. Those are the things we look at to see the trajectory, to see where things are moving. And nobody right now, nobody can deny the shift in momentum, the shift in the atmosphere ever since Kamala Harris became the nominee. And I was one of those people who was saying, "Oh, Daddy Joe's got to let it go after the debate." It's just, it's just facts. I'm one of those people who said that because you can't become like the other side, right? You can't become the cult like Trump. You can become people who, because the thing about Donald Trump, one of the things about Donald Trump is you can't tell him anything. He's not teachable. That man is not teachable. Have you noticed that the reason why a lot of Trump supporters have taken to going on Fox News and going on TV to to advise him is because they can't advise him directly. They can't advise him directly. You can't just call him up and give him good advice. He won't take it. But they know he responds to television. He responds to the news. He responds to to what's going on TV. That's his whole thing. So you see Lindsey Graham, Nikki Haley, everybody's going on TV trying to say, "Oh, Mr. President, if you would just tone down the rubbish and turn up the policy." They're all trying to beg him to be something he's not. He's not capable. Man is not capable. But they're all trying to beg him to be better than he is. I'm sorry. I feel bad for y'all. And I shouldn't feel bad because you guys know better. You know that Donald Trump cannot change who he is. You know that already. And that's so the only hope you have right now is that something happens where Kamala Harris loses support because the trajectory and the direction is clear. And we need to mark this moment. We need to mark this moment. One of the things that's so disturbing about what happened the last time is even though all the signs were pointing to the fact that a lot of people were not happy with Donald Trump, a lot of people were not happy with how he handled COVID. A lot of people lost family members during COVID, and they know that Donald Trump mishandled COVID. We all know he mishandled COVID. We were saying it in the middle of COVID. He was a force for division and disruption. Why am I bringing that up? It was in that moment that some of us were saying online, like he might lose the election just on his handling of COVID. Because for all the families out there of COVID, all the people who are the survivors of COVID victims, those who died during that pandemic, they all were voters. There were a lot of voters who lost family members to COVID and who knew that if Donald Trump had handled COVID differently, their father or mother would not have died. And I was saying that those are the people that are gonna they're gonna come out and they're gonna vote against Trump. And there were Trump supporters telling me, "Nah, do you see his rallies? Do you see his rallies? Do you see the crowds? Joe Biden is in the basement." I say, "Yes, Biden is in the basement, but Biden voters, they are waiting." I told you that. I told you they were waiting for the election day. They were gonna come out. They came out in the rain. They came out to line up for 10 hours in some precincts. Upon all this voter suppression that the GOP and Trump tried, people came out, people were determined to vote him out. But the rallies are showing he's gonna win. And then when he lost, y'all pretended like nobody told you that he could lose. That's ridiculous. We were saying that this man messed up on COVID, and there are enough people who are upset about how he handled COVID that could be enough to make him lose the election. Because it's math, isn't it? It's all about numbers. I beat you by 10,000, you beat me by 10,000. It happens to be in a swing state that either of us needs. That's the ball game, the electoral college. We went through all of that. And then when he lost, y'all had the nerve to pretend like, oh, there's no way he could have lost because Joe was in the debate. It wasn't about Joe. It was about Trump, who mishandled the pandemic and lost many Americans. He lost Americans. And I'm not just saying this. Dr. Deborah Burks, if you remember her, she worked for him. She was part of his task force. She wrote a book. She wrote a book. In that book, she confirmed that we lost at least 500,000 more Americans than we should have. Do you understand? We lost more Americans than we should have. In other words, if Trump wasn't president during COVID, at least an additional 500,000 Americans will be alive today. That's from one of the members of his cabinet. That's from one of the people on his team. And so here we are again. Here we are again. Signs and trends and momentum are going, towards Kamala Harris. They're going towards her favor. If things keep going the way they are right now, and no one can guarantee that things could change tomorrow morning. We all know that by now. Nobody can get happy right now. We all know how this goes. 2 months, 3 months, it's a lifetime when it comes to politics. Because something could happen in October. I pray it doesn't. That would change the tide back towards Trump. But right now, there is a momentum towards Kamala Harris. And if it turns out that Kamala Harris wins this election off of this momentum, off of this movement, it'll be so ridiculous for anybody to come back and join Trump to argue that it was stolen. Pay attention now to where it's going if you are sincere. Of course, I'm only talking to people who are sincere, who maybe also said to themselves, well, is it possible that it was stolen from him? Maybe you have that mindset. I'm asking you, we have a chance to look at it again. Here's the momentum. Here's where things are going. And if it turns against Kamala Harris tomorrow and it starts going towards Trump, it would also make sense if that momentum, whoever has momentum going into the actual election November 5th, whoever is moving ahead, not just having good polls, but having your polls, get better, having more good news, and you're leading. If that happens all the way until November 5th, where people are voting, if you see the turnouts, if you start looking at how many people are voting in the suburbs, how many people are voting in Atlanta, how many people are voting in Philadelphia, how many people are voting in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Those are the spots. Those are the spots. If the turnout in those places, if you see going bananas, if you see them going crazy, people are voting, waiting hours, desperate and determined to vote, then, ladies and gentlemen, get ready. That's a good sign for Kamala Harris. And can nobody turn around and try to tell us, oh, it was stolen? Look at the trends. Look at the voting patterns. Look at the turnout. So you know what? I'm gonna get back on my politics blog one way or the other. I'm gonna figure it out. But tonight was a special night. Congratulations to Miss Kamala Harris. You know what? You got a job to do. and you got a race to run. And I wish you luck. I wish you the best, and we're gonna be out here doing our best as well, because we do need to turn. We need to turn away from Trump. That's all I know. That is all I know. We need to turn away from that dude. Oh, that dude is bad news for this country. Bad news. I have a lot of my people want to talk about like he's chosen by God. I mean, the pandemic happened on his watch. It sounds more like God wasn't happy with him. It's like the pandemic happened on his. We lost over 1 million. Are you serious? And some of y'all still want to bring him back, and he has the nerve to tell us that he had a better economy going out. Do you have amnesia? Is everybody all right? Who has forgotten Corona? Who has forgotten COVID so soon? Not me. Oh, not me. Brother, sister, I remember very well how bad COVID was for us. So don't tell me that, we had it better under Trump. Don't tell me that. Because that was the worst time for the world and for America especially. But it's your boy, man. That was just a quick jump on tonight for Kamala Harris's speech. Like I said, shout me out, give me a note, give me a comment. We're trying to build back our Facebook following for the Bible study, and also that's going to be what we use for our politics conversation as well as we build it up. But I just have to jump in tonight, and I appreciate everybody that stopped by, man. Rashid Mondofa in the building, my people out here, appreciate you, appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, my people came out here. Samson Miller, what's going on, brother? Appreciate that. Lara is in the building. Lara Batola in the building. It's my people out here. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy JFK, man. We are. So congratulations to Miss Kamala Harris on accepting the nomination, and now it's time to work. It's your boy JFK. We out.